Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Show here, and now, before I do begin, let me give a brief little review. In the last part, a number of events have happened. We had Deku. Deku, he's getting married. However, this is now a problem. Deku helped solve the murder that occurred in the Sealy court 1 month ago. And the latest victim, she was murdered the same night Deku found the person who did this. That would just happen to be Kafrin, the son of the man he murdered. Now, this is quite a complicated situation. He freed the devil inside the obelisk, turned himself into a Cambion through a deal, and then murdered his father and then tried to take out someone to cover his tracks when they discovered he took items in the court records. However, part of his name was already put down on the desk. This woman could try to carve into it. It wasn't good. He would have been caught either way. Even if he didn't take the woman's tongue and take the documents so blatantly while he stood in the office. He barely got away with that. He was messy, sloppy, arrogant, and overconfident. And he forgot one simple thing. Now that he's a Cambion, he doesn't have to tell the truth anymore. And he accidentally lied to Deku about him having a problem with Thela getting so close to him, wanting to have him stay in her chambers for the night and even be in his dreams. This clearly bothered the guy, but he held his tongue at the wrong moment. And Deku realized that shortly afterwards. He was then brought into the court and confirmed to be the murderer, asking for trial by combat, to which he thought he could kill Deku and get away. But that was not the case, as Deku was able to strike him down with relative ease, showing the gap in their power. Because whatever deal he made, that person's long gone. They gave him the short straw. They got their freedom, gave him a little bit of power, then fucked right back off and left him to fend on his own. Yeah, that's what you just get for making a deal with someone capable of lying. Meanwhile, they honor their deals. And that is now a problem for Deku, because the man who he killed had a deal his father made to marry Thela. So now that deal's been inherited by Deku, along with the deals of those two are on him now. And the court, yeah, now that they've all been proven innocent and even have had their lives saved from being murdered, they're beginning to help Deku out with that. He'll break even as long as they can take on those deals themselves. They're helping him out. And right now, that's a good thing. But there's one thing he can't break even with. Right now, he's stuck marrying the Fey Princess. And she gave Deku a red cloak that seemed to have a lot of magical power inside of it. She gave him a kiss and even called him her husband. And this is something he's stuck in now. He honored his deal with the queen, can't pay those favors forward to her to get another favor from her, and he does have a bargain with Thela, which he does still have to honor. And after they left the Feywild, Pyra finally spoke up, still angry about all these rules she has to follow for her bargain. Leaving the Feywild, now she can bring a few things up. She even did have concerns about saving her sister since they might only have 5 days to do it. Though, there is where she learned, after speaking about possible things her parents might say to her sister, that Deku doesn't remember anything. He doesn't remember the date, he doesn't remember the memories they share. Even Oliver doesn't remember them dating. Indra doesn't either. And she realized what that bargain she struck might actually be about. She brought it up to Sir Theodore later, about how she made a deal and the trinket she does carry is a sign of that. And the man, he's well versed in things of this matter. Deals that go bad and curses that can be afflicted. And he's trying to give her the best advice he can at the moment. Since if she doesn't want to go through with breaking this deal and pissing off this hag, she'll be cursed. But there is a possibility they can break that curse if she is willing to accept that consequence. And she's more willing to do that for not only her sister, but to restore things to how they were with Izuku before. He's one of the only people she's met who isn't an elf to accept her. And what they have is something she's never had before. And now, that's another problem. They have another week before anything happens to Ely, since they have arrived back in the material plane the night before they were supposed to set out. And that is strange. Deku contacted the other heroes to tell them what was going on. And right now, he does sit there in the courtyard this morning, still confused about what Theodore has said. Still unsure of it all. He does stand there, right now in normal clothes, the red cloak that he does wear, and trying to think. As right now, Indra is talking about it, while Pyra is somewhat yelling about it frantically at the top of her lungs. She still can't believe it. She made a deal and it went bad. She should have known better. And Izuku, he does think back on this conversation. Oliver, he's worried. And even Theodore wanted them to arrive earlier as well. They were going to leave before noon, but heading back in today early after hearing about this was urgent. And he does turn his head, looking towards a window and now realizing why that voice was familiar from earlier. About a week ago, it was Pyra yelling. So they really did time travel then. That idea on his mind. And he does even have an idea to try and ask that version of himself, the younger version, if this is real, if this is true. But if he does do that, that can mess a whole lot of things up. It might just be best to let him go. Right. That's what he did before. But maybe observe him? No, if he gets close, he'll sense his own magical power. Huh. Right. They should be careful on that. Izuku. Huh? What? Are you even listening? Sorry, I am. So, what do we do? My sister, she's not that far away. You can fly us, right? I should be able to. But do you think that this is a good idea? Izuku, it's my family. Along with that, you're involved in this. I don't think we have time to do that. No, but you said that she's gonna die in 12 days. Yes, I did. I only know where she's gonna be. So, right now, we need to head there. Figure out what type of quest she's trying to undertake. Okay, Pyra. I think I know what he's trying to say. He's trying to say that your sister won't be in the same spot as she was 12 days from now. Her turning her head. Theodore, standing with his arms crossed, expressing. Her sister is likely miles away from the spot of her death. So, they need to arrive, find out where she's going to be, and then figure things out there. It's quite possible she could be out of range. Or she simply doesn't answer that damn magical crystal of hers. Perhaps she lost it on an adventure and got a new one. So she's not attuned to its magical signature just yet. She's only talked to people in close proximity. Or she's using somebody else's stone. That could be a possibility, but Why wouldn't she answer otherwise? It might be bandits. If they took her stone, then they probably crushed it. You think that bandits have your sister? It's possible. I know she gets hurt, and I don't want to think about what they might be doing to her. Him staring at this, and he does feel a twinge in his heart. Bandits. He's not trying to deal with that. He's a killer. He's got a lot of blood on his hands. He knows that now. Not just from cursed individuals nor monsters he's slain. He killed a man in the Feywild, killed the Cambion, which was a demon but was a fairy. He's killed the cursed man before, and there's even been the Sharkai. But this is fully human. Right. We can try to capture bandits if it's bandits. But if they do get out of hand, then we might have to kill them? Is that what you're saying? Him turning his head towards Theodore. And Theodore, he does go to give Deku a solemn nod, showing off with his expression that he might have to. And he does understand. He doesn't like the idea. It shouldn't immediately come to that. That should be the last option they have. He doesn't want to put unnecessary blood on his hands. He needs to have morals. Otherwise, what makes him different from a monster? He's going to have to kill the Demon Lord. And now that he's already spilled blood, he needs to know where the line in the sand is. He shouldn't cross it. That is a good idea at the very least. And right now, he does go to talk about it, stepping forwards to his friend, telling her they can try to investigate, but they'll need a map. Does she know where it is? I do. I'm really glad. Her wrapping arms around him and pulling him into a tight embrace. Deku staying there and looking at Oliver. Since this whole situation does seem very odd, him shrugging his shoulders. And Theodore does express she still has her own freaking memories. If she lost everything, she wouldn't know the deal took place. Right, but still, use your skills and fly. Indra, you up for carrying that idiot? I'd take offense to that. Good. Him turning, waving them off and expressing he's got quite a bit to deal with the king if they're going to head out. Though, turning back, telling Izuku, if he's going to take his familiar, he might want to take him now. Otherwise, he might just sit here all day and lay around in the castle. And he does understand, turning to Astoth and going to whistle. Run of the dragon flying out of the wagon and flapping its wings. Him telling the little guy about how they're going on a bit of adventure. Deku manifesting the spiritual wings that do begin to pop out of his back. Them taking shape as his eyes do glow with energy. Telling him it's going to be a bit long, so he'll have time to stretch his wings. Him chirping back to Deku, flying up into the air and going to wait. Indra walking over to Oliver as she is grabbing him by the hand, her flapping her wings and getting airborne. Deku bringing his hands up and going to pick up Pyra, as he is a flapping in the air himself. And she does begin to try and talk about where they need to go. Deku currently taking the lead and trying to get used to this ability. Hopefully aerial combat isn't something they have to deal with. He's been trying to learn this ability for some time, but he's still not used to it. Flying's gotten easier. I mean, he does have more speed, but he's not pushing it with magic. He's using his own ability, which, funnily enough, he's learned isn't magical. So that is at least an advantage of his. He can fly for longer periods of time. And he does begin to do so. Them making a decent amount of time in the first few hours. Though when they do to land, Indra does talk about it. Her quite happy herself about flying. And as Toth, he is happy to lay on the ground for a minute and just get some sunlight. Him breathing and panting with his tongue laying out of his mouth, trying to catch his own breath. And Izuku, he doesn't notice this. Him going to bring his hand up and pull something from his inventory, going to pour a stamina potion on a piece of wyvern meat, before he's going to walk over and feed it to the creature. It happy that he's done this, scratching on the head and trying to think about how this adventure is going to go. They get back, have to deal with this, and go through a lot. After this, he is going to need a serious day off. But now they've got to deal with a lot of other stuff. Him turning, and Pyra does hold her trinket up to the sky, talking about it. It's that way. Her pointing. And he does go walk back over and express. So he's still a little confused by all this, though. About what? Me and you. I mean, I know you're pretty, but I'm not sure about it. You're not sure? Yeah, I mean, wouldn't that mess up our friendship? It didn't. You and I talked about it on top of a bar in York. Did we? I can't recall that. I know, I was hoping you'd have a memory jog. You and Bakugo fought. There was a bar fight. You got thrown in jail, I think, the night before, or I want to say a few days before the tournament. I remember a bar fight, actually, but not much about why it started. He said something about one of you guys, but after a pretty solid knock to the face, I don't remember what it was. Right, so did I win that fight? I'd say you wounded his pride. That's a pretty good consolation. Him sitting down, just trying to think about this. It's weird. But this Fey hack deal, it altered his memories. Right, he has a book about Fey magic, actually. Ironically, one that Kafrin gave him. Or Valès, apparently. That's ironic. He's got magic from a dead guy. Well, he does know a little bit of necromancy, but that's as much as he wants to learn. Right. Well then, he's gonna just think about this for a bit more. They can spend some time there, hopefully get over what's happened, and figure this all out. Right now, Deku opening his inventory, looking at his list. And right now, he does open his items, showing off what he does have, along with showing the sword he does have attunement to. Deku bringing his hand up and holding up his cloak, trying to think about how to go about this. Okay, so it's gotta be an ability from his skill list. Okay, let's see. Deku looking at some of these things. Okay, so that one isn't good. That one, that's interesting. That one's a bit odd. He didn't know that one was a thing. Huh, that one could be good for potion brewing. Hmm. Okay. Oh, wait. He hasn't met the requirements for that one. Okay, but what about Deku scanning this entire list? Seeing that he does have some high class abilities, his skill for not being able to be poisoned, his spirit ability is one of them. Then there's also his fury skill, along with Astos scale armor. And then he does have polyglot, which is classified as an ultra rare skill. And this is interesting. Technically, he does have a few skills, but none of them are rare or lower than that. Okay, then. So let's see. Him finding it. And he does look at this ability. It will allow him to analyze objects. Not only that, but possibly see enchantments and curses on it. His eyes will grow more keen, and he will be able to evaluate what an object may not only be worth, but what it may be able to do. Using this skill will also help it develop and level up further, and allow him to do more advanced things, along with even being able to see the levels of creatures and people. And as it does level up, it will also allow him to see certain details about them. Him surprised, wishing he knew about this skill a week ago, if not a while back. Though he does doubt it would be that simple. If they had information hidden, then it could have been hidden by the skill. It's uncommon, so he's pretty sure even the queen may have had it. It slipped by her magic, though, so he shouldn't be surprised if it slipped by his. Okay, then let's take on this skill. It's not bad. 5 points is a little hefty, but he'll pay it. Deku taking it on. He does get to feel the magic circles run up to his face and go to cover his eyes. Before he does go to really strange spectacles on the inside of his eyes. Before they disappear, he does go look around. Him going to stare at and look at Pyra. And she does stare back at him, seeing that she does stand there with her arms crossed. It telling him her name, level, and that's it. Though he does stare at her, turning over to Indra and seeing her name and level, turning to Oliver and seeing the same thing. Though he also does see something strange about Oliver. Him right now staying there as his gauntlets also do glow. And they do give off magic. Oh, right. Okay, so him going to walk over and try to evaluate Oliver's gauntlets, seeing the price that they could sell for. And he does feel a little bad about that. They should go for a lot more. Those things were a little freaking pricey. Okay, so him doing the same thing to his armor pieces. And he does gonna try and level the skill. Before he does, it'll walk back over and sit down, bring up his hand, and going to take the cloak off, evaluating it and seeing it. And it does begin to inform him. Skill has leveled up to level 2. Currently, evaluation has given him the following analysis. Deku is staring at this. Cloak of the Fey Prince. Huh. Okay. Allows the user to wield the cloak as an extension of oneself. Cloak is primarily made of mana and can be used with the wielder's mana. Item is considered valuable, and if torn, can be repaired using mana. Additionally, can be expanded, controlled, manipulated, go through a lot of damage. That's basically what it means. And it does have some resistances. No immunities, though. And he does stare at this, seeing that the cloak apparently can be reduced down to a scrap, but over time it will begin to heal, regenerating mass and even allowing the user to store mana within it. However, at the expenditure of it gaining more size. And this does seem like an even trade-off. He can store mana in the cloak and regenerate his own naturally. It's a battery cloak. That could come in handy, actually. So, if he does pull mana from it, it begins to shrink. Deku holding on to the fastener that does have the top hood to it, along with the lining of fur that does sit on the top. The white fur poking out around the head, and the fastener that is made of some metal. And he does gonna put it back on. Before he does gonna feed it some mana and watch it begin to increase in size. Him happy about this. And it does begin to bellow and move around him. Before the group, they do to pick up their stuff and leave. Right now, them heading off after their short rest. And they do go to arrive in the area where it was said her sister may potentially fall in combat. There's nobody here. There's nothing here. And Pyra, she is still worried. They're going to be able to stay at the town that has an inn nearby. When she rolls into town, they'll presumably stop her at the guild and hope, beyond all else, whatever she's going to do isn't bad. Her trying to ask questions the next morning about everything, wanting to know about any dangerous quest nearby, and if she knows anything about an elf who looks almost exactly like her, describing her sister trying to take on any quest nearby. And the person sitting there, they are not happy about this. The halfling woman trying to tell the woman that she does understand her concerns, but she's a registered adventurer. Taking on quests does come with their own risk. And she does try to express to them about what she's talking about. Her even involving Deku in this matter. And whenever Izuku does go to bring up the amulet he got from the King of Granala, she does go to stare at that. Her eyes going wide as many of the people do come walking over. Recognizing not only that amulet, but drawing a crowd. Someone even calling out Izuku as the Dragon Slayer. And the moment this is to happen, he does begin to get surrounded. Some adventurers quite curious, wanting to know his story and know his tales, hear about his adventurers, and some even trying to talk about how much younger he does seem than they first thought. And he does try to tell them all to just calm down, they're here on their own quest. And the woman, she does try to tell them about exactly what she does know. Her a little more taken aback and staring at Deku, since he apparently is the freaking hero. I mean, she's heard stories about this guy, all of the fucking empire has, but looking at him, he's so young. I mean, he's got that long strand of hair on the left side of his face. He's got the scar on his lip, but he does got that air of authority, the air of power, and the look in his eyes. She's seen it in many adventurers' eyes. He's seen combat, but he does look relaxed, more worried than scary. And Pyra does snap her fingers in front of the woman's face, telling her, "Hey, can she tell her something? Huh? Sorry. Just, I can make a special request of the guild. However, it will be problematic for the moment. We aren't typically supposed to do this for adventurers, but if it is a matter of royal importance, then I believe we can. It potentially is. Him stepping in, and the woman does a somewhat jump at Deku's voice, him expressing calmer than she figured he would. Right now, they've returned from the Feywild and sorted out the problem they were having with the Empire. It is involving a deal that was made, from what he doesn't understand. Her staring at Deku, nodding her head slowly, and asking if it's a Fey deal? No, it's not. It's complicated, and I'm not the one who made it. But we're trying to prevent her from dying on an adventure soon. It's a family matter, you understand. I completely understand. That's a hefty price, though, to pay. It is, but I can work it out. I'll pay you gold myself if I have to. Just let me know or stop her. Tell her to meet us at the inn. Let her know what we're doing. And the woman does get a nod. Her trying to spread this information around to the others, and they do understand. Right now, them getting their own things prepared, as she does breathe a sigh of relief. Now knowing that if her sister does arrive in town, she'll know. Hopefully they can at least talk to the town guards as well. Though Izuku does try to tell Pyra to calm down, and that right now this isn't healthy. She needs to just take a breath and relax. Relax? We still have more than a week. I know. Sorry, it's just... we need to know. And I'm worried. I understand. We can investigate the site tomorrow. Find out more about this location. Or even hunt the local wildlife if it's too dangerous for your sister. I can use that new skill of mine, and we can take out some of those quests on the board. Fine. I would allow Oliver to get some experience with his new skill anyway. That's the spirit. Didn't you get an ability, though? I did, but it's for a ranger. Then use your ability. If you need to meditate, or we can even sword swing. Practice for close quarters combat. Fine. But I won't take it easy on you. I wouldn't expect you to. Him is smiling. In this, it does still kind of sadden Pyra. He's still him, but he just seems a little distant. She wants to embrace him, hug him, know that everything will be okay, but the way he's acting, standoffish but still close. Is he having that much trouble believing it? Or is that the magic involved? Her sighing as the two do head off. And right now, there is over the course of the next couple days where they do stay in town and try to find out what's happening. Deku, he begins to use this uncommon skill more, trying to level it up as much as he can, along with them even heading out of town to kill creatures, coming back in town and trying to do this over and over again. What they're getting at the moment is chump change, compared to what they got in the Feywild. But it does allow Oliver to feel better. He's besting creatures he didn't think he would otherwise. And Indra, she is happy with what she did get, but even though she's stronger, this does still feel cheap. And Izuku himself he can't deny that. It's definitely not sportsmanlike, but these are creatures that there are quests for, so it does need to be done at some point, anyways. Them even taking the measure to eliminate a horde of goblins that did stay nearby. And this was hopefully the last thing they needed to do. Them a little tired by the end of the week. And they're easily do good as someone sit at the bar in the inn, talking about a few things. Right now, someone is playing music. They are having a mighty feast, and Izuku, he does sit there. Right now, him digging into his meal as Pyra does try to go over it again and again in her mind. They're in Becton, and the fate shall befall is to the north. They've cleared everything in that direction, but her sister is still in danger? This running through her mind. And it does mean a bit. She's called Theodore back and has been trying to discuss things with him. She's even curious about parlaying with the hag, trying to see if they can come to some other deal, some other options, but that might put her deeper and deeper in debt. If that old bitch is anything like a fae, she'll know what this is worth. Okay. They'll save her sister and smash the trinket. And that hopefully will change things. This on her mind. And right now, Deku, he does just sit there. As someone, they do come walking into the inn, and she does turn her head. Her immediately feeling relief and jumping up, rushing over and pulling her sister into a hug, berating her about all the shit she's put her through in the last couple months. Since she does look a little stronger, but at the same time, she does look a little worn out. Trying to ask about what exactly happened to her. And she does talk about it. It's a long story. Her walking over, seeing Deku when she has to sit down, her alarmed looking at him. Wow, you got stronger. Hi. It's been a long time. It has been. Her turning, asking about exactly if they'd like to meet her friends, introducing them as the two do sit down. Deku seeing a guy who does seem to be a knight, and even watching as the healer does get to sit down, her leaning her staff against the table, asking exactly if they're right on a few things that is happening here. What do you mean? You're the hero? Yeah, that's true. I don't believe it. The idea that the hero and, well, you are you. I mean, come on. Deku going to do one thing. Bring up his hand and going to manifest the amulet in it. And the guy has to stare at that before he has to put it away and pull out a second one. Talk about how he got this one from the King of the Elves in Emsera. That one was an interesting trip. Pyra turning to Deku, trying to think about how to point out why he even has that one, deciding not to. And right now, he does express, going to pull out a third one, expressing. This one he got when the Queen of the Feywild decided to break the curse of the amulet on his necklace. It makes him a friend of the druids. And the dryads? Huh. Show off. Yeah. Though if I wanted to show off, I would have just showed you the scar on my chest. Right. Fair enough. I would still like to see it. I have never seen those markings in person. It's just a dark scar. That's really about it. Nothing special about it. other than what it represents in this world. Right. Well, it certainly is something still. Pyra thinking, right now, urging her sister not to try and take on whatever quest she's going to do. Bring her hand up and going to pull the trinket from her pocket. Talking about it. This thing here is evil. Right now, she made a deal to save her life, handing it over to Deku and telling him, crush it as hard as he can. And he does look down at it before he's to do so, crushing the trinket in his fist as everyone, they do hear the metallic popping sounds coming from it. Him rolling it over in his hand and going to drop metal fragments of it. As he would watch these squish fragments land on the table. And the knight is immediately more fearful of shaking Deku's hand, since those pops weren't exactly quiet. And he does sit there for a minute, him getting another bloody nose, as so does Oliver and Indra. Pyra herself getting one. Her bring her hand to her nose and looking at that. Before there is even her sister, bring her hand up and wiping her nose. Uh-huh. That's odd. And Pyra does it hear a whisper in the back of her mind, ignoring it, as is to tell her one of the things from their deal. Fate does not like to be denied. And this, it does go to worry her. But for now, she will bear with it. She'll deal with the curse and hopefully break it if she does have to. With the amount of money she got from the dungeon, she should be able to pay someone of high magic to break it. And it may cost her a lot of gold, but that is something she's willing to do, willing to put up with. And Izuku does a turn, him feeling normal again. And he does mention something about it, asking if she thought he was overdressed that day. It's just a smile. Over the course of the next couple hours, the party, they do get to eat and drink. Pyra feeling things returning back to normal. Oliver even mentioning a few things. Him even making a joke that she does want to get up and slap him for, because it does make her sister's face turn beet red. And this does make her feel a lot better. As we do have with the group, they do go to party into the night. Happy that their small little adventure, it has finally been completed. And there is actually Deku. Deku, he does go to lay there in his own bed. And on this night, it does not have one sole occupant. It has two. And it does mean a bit. For the last couple of nights, he's been sleeping alone. However, now he's back to his old self. And he's still a little lost on how all that stuff worked, though. I mean, magic is weird. And that's probably the only explanation he'll ever get about that. I'm going to sit up. As he does start yawning and talking about it. Turning and feeling something on his arm. Before he does go to bring his head up and grab on a Pyra's shoulder. Her sitting up to yawn as Deku does turn to the woman in his bed. Her elven ears are not there. Her nose is a little more. Pyra? Yeah? You. How. Do you know magic by chance? Yeah. Okay, good. Now, I'm gonna blink again and her jumping up, asking what is before feeling something strange behind her. Turning her head and gonna see it. Before she turn and run over to a mirror. Her gonna scream out in a bit more of a howl about what the hell is going on. And he does sit there, watching as this curse she was supposed to be afflicted with has hit her. Right now, Deku's staring at Pyra, who she does have a tail. Her elven ears are gone. Her nose is a little more buttoned. It's hard to express. It's shaped a bit stranger. It doesn't have the sharpness it used to have. It's a bit odd. Him staring at her still, her ears wiggling around as she does look down, seeing the way that her legs, they have sort of changed, and she does stare at that. Right now, curious. Walking feels normal, but apparently not. She's turned into a beast folk. Oh crap. Her covering her nose, knowing how sensitive their noses are, looking at the claws on her hand, and realizing one thing. She can't fight with a bow like this. And there's where someone does a knock on the door. Deku jumping up and walking over to it himself. Him going to open it and talk about how it's fine in here. We heard a scream. Is everything okay? Yeah, we're fine. Oliver, what do you know about curses? Oh, uh, why do you ask me? Didn't you used to date a witch? Yeah, I did. That's a problem. Uh, what happened? Him looking over his shoulder as he does see that she's a bit more decent now. Less freaked out and a little bit more calm as he's opened the door, allowing them in. As when they just see Pyra, they do see her. Her staying there with her arms folded, a little annoyed. And they do just see that her hair, it does seem to be a lot longer and sort of poofier. Fluffier? Yeah, that's definitely got to be a part of the curse. Them surprised at what they do to see, and even Ely is surprised by what's going on here, as she is annoyed. However, if this is the price she has to pay to keep her sister alive, she'll deal with it for now. Hopefully, however, they can figure out a way for her to change back. Since she does want to try and use her bow again, and trying to go out and hunt in the forest and survive, it could be better this way actually. The one downside is she might have to get into close range. That in her mind, her stomach growl as she does feel really hungry. And Deku does talk about it. Okay, they can get breakfast and then head back, right? Them all nodding their heads as they do to head back downstairs, and Pyra, she does to berate her sister about staying out of contact with their family. And she does try to talk about all of this. However, Pyra doesn't give her the third degree nor the fourth degree. She gives her the fifth degree. Her even handing over a bag of gold coins and telling her exactly what she wants her to do. She wants her to head to the closest magic shop, buy a communication crystal, and even buy something that will allow them to protect themselves, be it charms or even new magical weapons. Right now, she doesn't want to hear it. Then She wants her to head back home and calm down with a few things. Because the next time she hears about her being in trouble, do know. Hopefully, she's the one that gets cursed. I know her a bit annoyed. However, she is grateful for what her sister has told her. She thought she was overreacting at first, but now she knows she's not. Being close to the hero definitely does make her live a crazy life. And she and her friends do get to leave. Still quite surprised by the amount of money they were given. And the party does get to head back to the capital. As with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed. Have an amazing day. I'll catch you guys in the next part.